Hello people, my name is Elle and I'm the host of the Mage system. I know you can see my peanut butter. So I get a comment on my videos sometimes thanking me for showing a real example of DID that doesn't romanticize it like other creators. I focus on healing instead of altars. So today I'm just going to be addressing that and giving my thoughts on romanticizing altars. So, first things first, I don't personally romanticize mine. I think I just don't even think it's real half the time. Also, did I introduce myself? Hi, my name is Elle and I'm the host of the Mage system. Subscribe. Here's my take on this, and you might disagree because that would make sense. But I think of all of the horrors of DID, systems should be allowed to romanticize themselves sometimes. Hear me out. Let's talk about autism. So, there are a lot of negatives of autism. There are meltdowns, there are shutdowns, there is sensory issues, there's a intolerance to things that most people can tolerate, and it makes you feel very alone. You might have a really hard time making friends. You might have been bullied. You might go nonverbal. You may have a really hard time with change. There's just a shit ton of negatives to having autism. Wouldn't recommend it. I think that it's really hard to have, and that it's indescribable. The impact it's had on my life to have autism is absolutely crazy. Like, just crazy. Like, I don't even know if I would have DID if I didn't have autism. Because it makes you so much more, like, sensitive to the things that are going on around you. Or at least it does for me. However, I wouldn't want to cure it. If I could take a pill and make it go away forever, I wouldn't take it. Because, first of all, I have no clue who I would be. I have no clue what I would act like, what I would think about. Like, I have no clue what my interests would be. Like, I have no clue who I would be if I wasn't autistic. Second of all, having autism makes me a better writer. It makes me better at making music because I am much more focused on small details than the normal neurotypical person is. I am very detail oriented.
I just drank my snot.
I know so much
About DID and psychology, and I would never trade the feeling of excitement you get after out of doing something that you enjoy. Like, this just abnormal, like, surge of, like, cocaine excitement that you get from, like, autistic special interests for anything. Is it romanticizing it to call it a superpower? Yes. Is it ignoring all of the other really hard aspects of having autism to call it a superpower? Yes. However, I think autistic people are aware of how hard having autism is. And I think that, is it terrible to just let us experience some amount of satisfaction with ourselves sometimes? Like, just because we do that sometimes, if you want to call it a superpower sometimes, it doesn't make all that bad stuff go away. But I think as far as DID goes, I think the fear around romanticizing it is fueled by singlets being miseducated. And that is a really important fear to bring up because it really is true. I mean, singlets may see content that focuses on meeting the altars and switching on camera and think it's like having friends in your head, or that it's a cool superpower. They may not see the Lovecraftian horrors beyond our comprehension part. However, and this is important, it is not always a system's responsibility to take care of singlets. Some of us are just trying to exist. Maybe some of us don't want to show that side of ourselves to other people and online. Maybe we're just trying to have fun. Just a little tinge of fun in this cruel world. I don't personally romanticize my system because half the time I'm skeptical that it even exists. So, as you can imagine, it's just really not in my nature. However, I think that romanticizing the DID can almost be good for some alters because it can make them feel a sense of significance and purpose. Now, back to the comment I get sometimes that, thanks me for focusing on healing over alters. Now, I say I don't think it's necessarily counterproductive to focus on alters. I see a lot of systems online get ridiculed for making meet the alters videos and switching on camera videos, or just like a lot of those, or like advertising that in the thumbnail or whatever, because who doesn't like views and stuff. But I think that I just don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't care if you switch on camera. I don't care if your alters are the focal point of your channel. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. There's two things I wanted to come in here and say. The first one is that sometimes whenever my speech gets a little bit impassioned, my tone might be like kind of intense. So I just wanted to let you know, because I get nervous about that coming off wrong, that like I'm not angry. I just got excited, I guess. The second thing I wanted to say is that I think it is a lot more sensible for systems themselves to comment on and bring attention to and be made uncomfortable by, systems that are prioritizing showing alters rather than the negative side of DID, even though I think that that is something they're allowed to do. I do think what really actually upsets me is whenever people who aren't systems are commenting on these things, because I know that a lot of the people that make these accusations against people aren't systems themselves. And it really bothers me whenever people that do not have experience with DID and can't possibly understand it in its entirety, or a lot of them are like, oh, my friend has DID, something like that. It's like, you don't have DID. It's not your place to say these things. Like, I think it's a really hard thing. It's not just being an ally to decide that certain things upset you. Like, I see TikToks sometimes of singlets making fun of like self-diagnosed autistic people, as if they're sticking up for the autism community and what the autism community would want. And it's like, maybe some autistic people, but you don't know what the autistic community wants because you're not autistic. I think if you're going to be upset by, certain people having different focuses on the way they present DID online, that's fine if you're a system. Like, I think that's the way it makes you feel. I think this video is just the way it makes me feel. So I don't want to speak for everybody whenever I say that I don't care too much. That's just sort of a me thing, personally. But that's not how I guess I don't want everyone to think that I'm saying that everyone should feel that way. But I do think that we should have more compassion and empathy for other people. I think that in general, like, if it does offend you, do just, approach it from a kind place whenever addressing it. And I just think that it's not necessarily counterproductive to focus on alters, and I feel like it can be empowering for each alter in the system to express themselves online. However, I don't think of it as, in the grand scheme of things, this grounding, like, grand healing approach. Focusing on the differences of alters can actually, like, impair the progress of getting the system closer and lessening those dissociative walls, because it adds a stronger division between members. However, if it works for you, then it works for you. I go the route of avoiding judging others as much as possible. No, no, every two systems are the same. And I think that there is a shit ton more negativity in this community than there needs to be. And I think there is just so much judging and like forgetting that each one of us are just people. Now, this is just me like going on a bit of a rant now because I ran out of notes. But I think that. What do I think? People really need to talk about this more, okay? But doing things like, and I know I talk about this so much, okay? But doing things like fake claiming and saying that a system switches on camera too much or that they show their alters too much, just stop. Just stop saying that. Like, it's just so, like, it's like, just like almost, it's almost kind of like ableism, in my opinion. I know some people are going to disagree with me about that, and if you do, please respectfully do so in the comments and be nice about it. But I think it's kind of ableism, especially fake claiming. I mean, fake claiming is obviously like ableism, but like saying that somebody switches too much on camera, blah 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 blah. Just let systems do what they want. They've been through enough, by God. So to interject here, again, I'm being very like black and white in this video. So since I've made this, I just wanted to say that I hope this video comes off the right way. Essentially, it's hard to know whether a system is just having fun online and keeping it light or romanticizing DID. However, if a system blatantly says things that show an inaccurate or inappropriately positive conception of DID or sets out to specifically try and educate people, very important, with only happy portrayals, then it's not okay and very offensive. I have to say, positive or romantic instead of sensational, because sensational is so loosely defined that what one person considers sensational is so different from the next, and somewhere in there we will just start mistaking genuine system experiences with sensationalism. Though, if someone other than that obviously problematic description offends you as a system, you have every right to have feelings and to avoid that system. It's hard to control that something offends you. There are a lot of feelings, and DID is a very sensitive area of our lives. Avoiding that system is fine, by all means. You know, vent about them to your friends. But avoid doing that in big online spaces for everyone to see. Then it can fester into groups of people who form echo chambers of unhealed resentment and hatred, which is so bad for this community. But if you aren't a system, even if you have a friend with DID, it is not right to try and decide what is and isn't offensive for a community you aren't a part of. Don't accuse random systems online of being sensational because they don't act like your friend. This disorder is incredibly diverse. Pick on somebody your own size, please. Thank you. Like, if you want to switch on camera to make money, I don't care. Like, get some money. It's the least we can do for you at this point. But yes, I think singlets can get the wrong idea about stuff like this. But, you know, I think that it is not our job to educate singlets. It's our job to look out for ourselves. It can miseducate singlets to, you know, I feel like that there's a really hard line there, because like, where is the line between you just existing as a system and you're switching on camera because you just switched and it was on camera, and your alters want to introduce themselves on camera and you're just making videos about it? There's a line between that and specifically like spreading misinformation about it and saying that it's like having friends in your head and, you know, blah 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 blah. And I think if you're doing that, that's obviously really harmful. But I think if you are switching on camera and you are, your alters are doing their makeup in, interesting ways to look like themselves and getting on camera and filming a video, I think that if that's just what your system does, if systems see that and get the wrong idea about things, again, I don't think it's systems' responsibility to constantly be making sure that singlets are educated. It's not our responsibility. The same way it's not my responsibility as a trans person to constantly educate cis people around me. Like, I'm just trying to exist. You see what I'm saying? Please let me know, like, in the comments, what your thoughts are around on this. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I'm just a person. So if you disagree with me, you can just say it like normally instead of like angrily. And I'll actually be able to understand it better that way, because when people are angry, Okay, everyone. I think I just want to work to make this community a more positive place. Thank you for watching my channel. You're just so great for being here. Just congratulations. I'll see you next time.